When I was younger, I used to be the biggest overthinker in the classroom. But little did I know, I didn't know this at the time, that was the main culprit for my lack of happiness and fulfillment. Looking back, I can see that now just so clearly. I remember I used to overthink about the way I walked, the way I talked, the way I presented myself. And mostly this was all in school because school school when you're young, when you're a teenager, it's the big thing where you go 5 days a week from 9 to 3 o'clock. And yeah, I remember I used to just overthink like everything, getting changed for PE and stuff, and just I always used to overthink about getting my exam results. Say if it was about 6 months from the time that I actually get the exam results, I was I was still overthinking about how it's gonna feel whenever the big day comes and what if I fail, and I was just anxious 24/7, overthinking so much. But luckily, it's been a year now since I've left school, and I've drastically improved my mental health. My happiness has skyrocketed, and I'm proud to say, at least for the most part, I've overcome my overthinking problem. Now, let's get into what I'm going to teach you and what you're going to learn. Okay, so first of all, I want to say I'm not perfect with this. To be honest, sometimes I overthink stuff as well. Like currently, I'm just going to be totally honest with you. Sometimes I just ask ChatGPT like so much stuff. I just I overanalyze stuff, and I try to over optimize stuff, and yeah, I'm not perfect with this. I still overthink from time to time, but if I think back to when I was a bit younger, I came quite a long way, to be honest. But I'm still not perfect, guys. I still sometimes just use ChatGPT a bit too much and just ask it, can you optimize this? What's the 80/20 rule for just life? Like, yeah, I'm not perfect with this, but I'm getting better. So yeah, let's get into how you can overcome your overthinking habit. First thing I want to say is you want to know the key to happiness. The key to happiness is not overthinking how you become happy. No, the key to happiness is being the carefree guy who's not in his head, who's not trying to overanalyze everything, who's not trying to over optimize his routines and his habits and trying to fix this and that 24/7, being in a state of fight or flight basically. No, guys, what I want to get drilled into you, you need to be the carefree guy. You need to be the person that doesn't overthink stuff, because overthinking is a trap, man. Now, I'll not lie to you, sometimes overthinking can actually be like beneficial. For example, I don't know, you're studying for exams and you really want to find the most optimal way for it. Fair enough, okay, but sometimes overthinking can be a trap, and most of the time it is a trap. I'd say 80% of the time it's overthinking, like, oh, what am I gonna wear today? Oh, there's a stain in my school shirt. Overthinking tiny stuff like that, and trying to over optimize stuff like trying to over optimize your diet and stuff like that. Just taking it to an extreme. And I'm not saying to be carefree, and I'm not saying to be carefree so you don't care about stuff. I'm saying to be carefree, to be happy. Of course, you want to hold yourself to a high standard still. I'm not saying you don't hold yourself to a high standard, but just being carefree, not overthinking, not sweating the small stuff, you know, that's the key to happiness. Now, let's talk about some tools you can use to stop overthinking everything. So, I'm going to tell you about the physiological side and just having thoughts of gratitude in your mind, because gratitude really is the way to just rewire your mind for happiness, you know? The physiological sigh is where you just inhale super deeply through your nose, ideally, or maybe through your mouth if your nose is blocked. And then after you take a big inhale through your nose or mouth, you just take one more inhale. There's there's still room for just a little bit more of an inhale, and then you do that, and then you take a massive exhale out of your mouth. And Huberman says to do it as if it's through like a small straw. So whenever you exhale, like imagine you're exhaling out of a straw. So yeah, and other than the physiological say, the other tool is just having a grateful mind, having thoughts of gratitude, and just having some. Maybe you want to make a note page and you want to title it "Your Happy Memories Vault" or something, and you have like this superpower where you just think of these happy memories that just get you smiling straight away. That's a cheat code. You just want to have memories of gratitude, guys. And whenever you're feeling anxious, overthinking stuff, just saying your mind or even say it loud to a friend. You could be like, "I'm grateful for you, man. I'm grateful you're here," or whatever you're doing. Maybe you're anxious when you're with people, and yeah. Or you could even, if you don't want to do that, you can be like, I don't know, if you're in the gym, for example, sometimes I do this, and I'm like, "Man, I'm grateful for the people that done this gym up. I'm grateful for the dumbbells. I'm grateful for where they came from. I'm grateful for the factory they came out of and stuff like that." That really gets you into a positive state of mind where you don't want to overthink stuff and just yeah, much better. So yeah, those are two vital tools to combat overthinking, but not just overthinking. Honestly, you could come you could combat or sorry, you could combat anxiety as well with those tools, and it works for overthinking, of course. Now let's talk about making decisions. Now making decisions is key, and probably for most people, the biggest reason why they overthink is because they struggle at making decisions. Well, I'm going to show you some tactics and hacks, if you want to call it that, to just make decisions quickly. So, yeah, you may have never heard anyone say this stuff before. I think it's going to be really valuable for you. So, the tools are coin flippers and just randomizer tools, websites, and apps in your phone or something. So what you do is you just maybe you want to write down all your decisions. Maybe you've like 10 or something. You want to you want to just cut it down to the option between two decisions, and then you do something like flipping a coin. Okay, so if it lands on heads, then I'm gonna go to university, and if it stays in tails, then I'm going to I'm going to continue working on my business or something. You get what I mean? So you don't. This just takes away all your decision fatigue once you've made the decisions. Just making decisions is a must, and stuff like coin flippers and stuff. I know this might sound a bit absurd. They just make life decisions of coin flippers, but honestly, if you're really struggling and the two options that you've cut it down to are are actually good ones, then it might honestly be better to save you from days and days of overthinking. Like you just use a simple coin flip or some randomizer site. So yeah, yeah. Next, guys, let's talk about changing your environment. This is like a hack to overcome your overthinking. So what I mean by this, well, let's say that let's say for example that you're in school, okay, and you normally you eat your lunch in the canteen, let's say, and maybe that's like a source of your overthinking because maybe you're just sitting with just one person, one close friend, and you're just looking around you, and there's so many people, and you might feel anxious about that, and you might overthink, like, oh, are they looking at me or something? Well, what you could do there is, I don't know if it's possible for you, but changing your environment in situations like that, guys, can be a game changer. For example, you and your close friend, eat your lunch in a classroom or something. If the teachers allows you to use it, or you could maybe go to the library or something like that, and that instantly resets your mind. And it's also good for creativity as well. If you want that, that's a side note. So yeah, and this can also even work for just just maybe you're just in your room, let's say, and you're overthinking about a decision. You're constantly just journal and writing about it. What you could do is you could just go out in nature or something like that. You could go for a walk around your street and then come back. Whenever you change the environment from your room where you're overthinking and journaling, if you change that to just out in the road walking or maybe even a nice nature place nearby, that gives your mind an instant reset. It stops you overthinking completely. It can be an absolute game changer. Also, on a side note, this isn't really related to changing your environment, but something that really helped me overcome my overthinking was a full digital detox day. I've only done this once in my life. It was 3 days ago. I literally did not use a single technology device apart from my Kindle. But all I did was just go outside, eat, read, journal. That's it. And it was an absolute game changer because I was kind of just burnt out, I guess, from looking at screens too much computer time and stuff like that. And I honestly might schedule every month to just get a day where I just avoid technology. That really helped me with overcoming overthinking. Because guys, let's just imagine this: you're crowding next you, you're climbing up a tree. You're a lot less likely to overthink then, you know. But yeah. Next